Right now at 5, students at Pitt State now have a chance to turn their social work into a master's degree. Local area realtors turn the Gold Key project into benefits for the Ronald McDonald House. Also, one report shows rural Kansas school districts experience a decline in early reading levels.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning. Welcome to the KOAM Morning News and welcome to December. It is 5 a.m. I'm Chris Warner and I'm telling you, it most certainly does not feel like December outside. It certainly does not feel like December 1st.
Already sitting at 50 degrees.
Yeah, on the way in, I thought I'd need a jacket, and by golly, I did not need a jacket today.
You're not going to need one for the next couple of days, as a matter of fact. Give that furnace at home a little break, save on some electric bills there. By the time it's all said and done, 56 degrees right now over 7th and Range Line. And barometer is dropping just a tad bit. And give you an idea of the cooler temperatures that hang out to the northwest, as indicated by the color contours. So we drop as low as 39 in Yates Center and Neodesha, but that's a far cry from the wind chills of the 20s that we were talking about last week. And right now we've got a whole bunch of low to mid 50s ranging throughout southwest Missouri. Miami sits at 54. That's just the reflectivity picked up by the sweeping radar. We go ahead and remove that. And it's mostly cloud cover, everything off to the west, beginning to clear out a little bit, but with that barometer falling, we knew those clouds would creep in. With the rain staying up to our northeast, and the jet stream been pretty stagnant as of late. We have not seen a whole lot of movement in it at all. By the time we get into the afternoon, we are going to be throwing up temperatures in the mid 60s. Not going to challenge a record high for today. We'd have to get up to 75 degrees to do that. So we're not going to quite get that warm. But as we work into Thursday and Friday, Chris, for December 2nd and the 3rd, yes, that's when we are going to challenge those December records.
I'm looking forward to challenging some of those records.
We'll take it.
It's nice when it's mild, you know?
And look at these overnight lows, like you were saying, especially if you're up, out and about early. Yeah, I'm not saying you're going to roll with the windows down, but you don't have to have the heater blasting either.
Exactly. You know, and during my first go-around in news, I was interested in San Diego when I was a kid. I checked on their weather, and I'm not kidding. It would be 70s all year round, 40s for overnight lows, and you trade that beautiful weather for like 1 month of monsoon season. And I think that that's perfectly acceptable. I can handle 1 month of rain for mild temperatures year round.
And you know what you do if you're a weather guy out there?
Nothing.
You concentrate on the tides. You got to know your tides, up, down, and crossways. Because that's what people are, they know it's going to be 70 and sunny.
So you might as well get out and surf, but you're going to have to know what the surf, that's the biggest job for the forecaster.
Those guys in that San Diego market, man, they're some ocean wizards, so that's for sure.
That is true. Michael, thank you so much. Turning to local news, a Baxter Springs, Kansas home invasion suspect is recovering in the hospital after he was shot by the resident. The shooting happened last night. Baxter Springs Police Department got a call just before 9 about a person breaking into a house. On the way to that call, they learned that someone at the location had been shot. Police say the suspect, Sean Talent Jr., allegedly broke into the home, assaulted the residents, and was shot once in the thigh and again in the calf. Talent is charged with aggravated burglary, aggravated assault, and criminal damage to property. No one else has been charged. Some area organizations use this Giving Tuesday as a fundraising opportunity to help those in need. That included Connect to Culture in Joplin. Facebook was matching donations made to the arts organization through the platform. C2C also says an anonymous donor has agreed to match up to $5,000 in donations.
You know, sometimes people aren't thinking about showing their appreciation for different organizations, and this is what the day is all about. It's about showing appreciation for Connect to Culture, what it provides the Joplin area, how it helps it grow, and I just hope that they'll consider, donating $5, $10. It doesn't have to be a huge amount of money.
Officials say the funds raised today will help keep things running through the year. Pitt State is giving social work students a new opportunity to advance their education. PSU is now offering a master's degree in social work through a partnership with the University of Kansas. Students in the first group are already pursuing the new degree option.
So this allows students to stay in the area, to get their degree and stay here. It also since we have the 2-year program where they're able to do the first year at PSU, our tuition is great at PSU, so it's an affordable way.
In the first year of the program, students take courses in PSU's social work program to earn a foundation graduate certificate. Then they take a year of clinically focused classes taught by KU faculty. Home sellers spread the love to a home away from home. Reese Nichols Realtors from Joplin and Neosho today presented a $5,300 check for the Ronald McDonald House of the Four States. It's part of the Gold Key project launched in Kansas City last year. Participating agents agreed to donate $100 for every closing during the months of April through October. 5 Ronald McDonald houses benefit.
Our goal this year for 2021 was a $100,000 goal to donate to those 5 Ronald McDonald houses, and we wound up with just shy of $236,000 between April 1st through October 31st of this year.
The Ronald McDonald House provides shelter and resources for families of children in the hospital. A report by a Kansas nonprofit shows rural Kansas school districts experienced the greatest decline in early reading levels from 2019 to 2021 compared to other Kansas districts. This comes from public data showing rural school districts suffered more learning losses following pandemic-related school closures. Some area districts fared pretty well, but the Columbus, Kansas School District says it's seen this learning gap firsthand and says a lack of funding plays a big part.
I think what hurts rural schools, we don't have maybe the resources you would have in more, larger cities and things. So we were able, with ESSER money, to get caught up with some of the things that we fall behind in because we don't have the funding maybe you see in larger settings.
The Columbus superintendent says they're now using federal pandemic funding to introduce new programs for students who may have fallen behind. It was such a hit last year, the Joplin Parks and Rec Department is doing it again. The Holiday Tree Trail is a series of decorated trees from area businesses and organizations placed along a portion of the trail at Mercy Park. The city lit the trees last night at a special event that included performances by Karen's Dance Studio, hot cocoa, cookies, and boy, even the jolly old elf himself was there.
I love all of the trees. These businesses and organizations have worked so hard to get these trees out here and decorated, and they've just done a fantastic job in helping us make this event happen.
Guests who walk the trail can vote for their favorite tree through December 22nd, when the winners will receive prizes. The trees will be on display through the end of the month. Yesterday was our first Toy Box Tuesday of the year, and we're not done yet. Next Tuesday at noon, 5, 6, and 10, volunteers will be standing by to take your phone-in monetary donations to help buy toys for area kids in need. If you can't wait until next Tuesday, you can always donate at any time on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. It is now 5:07.
Great looking start to December. Temperatures as high as 56, which is what we see in Joplin. Cooler up to the northeast, still waiting on Yates Center and Sedan to get to that magical 40-degree mark. But eventually, mostly sunny skies and up into the mid-60s. Overnight, a little light southwest breeze will kick in, won't amount to anything, and we'll be able to be well above the freezing mark to the point where when we talk about December 2nd and 3rd, aka Thursday and Friday, we'll get up there and maybe have to maybe whip out the old almanac there and see how close we get to a record high.
We're looking forward to those record highs. Caught me off guard there. You just right there with record high. That sounds good. Hey, an almanac is always handy, and an almanac may be handy a little later. We'll get to that. That's a look at our morning's top stories and weather, of course, all here in the first 7 minutes of the KOAM Morning News. Carthage High School seniors are, goodness, it's a lack of coffee morning. Carthage High School has entered wrestling season with some great expectations. We'll tell you how their opening night went. Plus, 5 years ago, the Humans won the Tony Award for Best Play. Now it's coming to the big screen. And as the latest variant of COVID spreads, experts stress the role of protecting yourself through vaccination. You're watching KOAM Morning News. We have more real news in the morning. We're going to be right back.
Good luck.
Carthage High School wrestling team enters the season with very high expectations. Carthage finished as the district runner-up last season and this season have 11 starters back. That includes 6 state qualifiers. Carthage opening the season on the road last night. COC duel against Carl Junction. We're going to start at 170 pounds. Carl Junction's Lucas Watkins with a good match against Gabe Lambeth. Watkins gets the win by fall. A minute into the third, CJ goes up 12-0 to start. Carthage junior Luke Gall normally goes at 195, wrestling up at 220. And Gall gets the takedown in the first period. Then another in the third as Gall wins by technical fall to get Carthage on the board. But then Carl Junction goes on a little bit of a roll, 285. We got the big guys. Carl Junction's Cameron Bennett gets it done. Pin in the first period. Carter Fogelsong, 106 pounds, goes to work quickly, wins his match by fall in 58 seconds. Then 113 pounds, Lucas Walker for CJ, 5th at state as a sophomore, wins via second round pin. And Carthage closes late, 138. Byron Lopez, he wins by fall in the second. And Eli Sneed, that's one tough dude when we talk about Eli Sneed, 145 pounds. Sneed wins by pin. Carthage finishes 4 consecutive wins by fall, but they come up just short. Carl Junction wins the opening duel by a final 39-34.
Carthage is a heck of a team. I know they didn't have their full lineup tonight. They do always throw in their best that they got in there, so we're super proud of the guys to go out and compete with the ones that can. We had a few kids wrestling up weight classes. Super proud of our guys. We talked about culture, starting to willing it back to our winning traditions again, and it starts with this team. The last 2 years, we've had a good group of kids starting that culture, starting to develop again. I can see it in this team. This team is starting to develop and they're buying into the program they're wanting to build.
More COC action. Joplin Eagles kicking off the season on the road with a duel against Webb City. Joplin opens the year with a 45-28 victory. Local high school basketball tournament action. Semifinal night at the CJ Classic in Carl Junction. Nevada takes on Parkview for a spot in the championship game, and that's exactly where the Tigers find themselves after winning 64-58. Then on the other side of the bracket, tournament host Bulldogs facing Seneca, and it is Carl Junction that wins it 59-42. What that means is we've got Carl Junction and Nevada squaring off for the CJ Classic. We're going to tip that thing Thursday night at 8:30. This week, a big one for Pitt State basketball. Gorillas open MIAA conference play. Got 2 league games this week. It all begins with a home date against Newman. On the women's side, Gorillas head into conference play with a little momentum, 4-1 already, and on a 3-game winning streak after blowing out Missouri S&T on Saturday. Gorillas have used that non-conference schedule to get young players experience, build chemistry, and now it's time to find some consistency.
You can't always know who's going to show up what night, but it's getting closer to that. And the good thing is the girls are playing connected. I mean, I think the bigger piece to being confident is that we're sharing the basketball. So they must feel confident within each other. So we've had 20 assists, 21 assists, and so that's a really bright piece. And I think that does just show that they're playing well together.
On the men's side, Gorillas aiming for back-to-back wins. They've got that conference opener tonight as well. Last time out, PSU topped Baker for their first win of the season. Gorillas dealing with plenty of injuries already, but with those guys out, head coach Kim Anderson, he's had a chance to get an extended look at plenty of other players.
We started off with 17 guys, and we redshirted our 2 freshmen, and then we've got 3 guys that are hurt right now, so maybe having 17 was a good idea. But we got a lot of guys, a lot of different playing time, or a lot of playing time. Candidly, I think there's still competition. There's going to be competition all year. It comes down to production. You play well, you get to play more. You don't play well, you play less.
I like the old meritocracy. Still to come on the KOAM Morning News, the U.S. government removes former Colombian rebel group Farc from the terror list. Plus, a check on our 7-day forecast from the KOAM Morning News routine.
There's casinos.
Great time to open up December with our daily almanac. When we talk about our precipitation for the year, really right on par for where we'd normally be. Go back to a 3-month span, take September, October, and November in there. What they call meteorological fall ended up with about 11.3 inches, 0.3 inches more than historical norms. So we really haven't seen anything of substance here. And now as we get ready for meteorological winter, we'll start to pay attention to high temperatures because we're going to be headed up into the 70s here for the next couple of days. Already sitting at 56 degrees over 7th and Rangeline in Joplin. Had a little cloud cover move in as the barometer began to fall, and also too a little bit of a cold front stalled out here to the northwest. So cooler temperatures up in Yates Center, Chanute, Iola. Compare that to the mid 50s that we're seeing through southwest Missouri, and 54 right now in Miami. So that's about where everybody was yesterday temperature-wise, but then you push down here, double-digit increase. Miami was one of our cool spots yesterday. 17 and 18 degree increase from Wednesday, from where we stood on Tuesday right there. We've seen a sprinkle or two. That's about the amount of it. Luckily, the jet stream still bringing us mostly dry air. The thunderstorm activity for today ranging from central Missouri on the other side of the Mississippi toward the Ohio River Valley, and really not a whole lot behind it other than some warmth. So our afternoon planner puts us up into the mid 60s today. Overnight, clear skies with just a little southwest breeze. We'll just go about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Not going to be too blustery. And then we just sit back and, like I said, we challenge the almanac here for the next couple of days to see just how warm we can throw up. We're also going to be dry, so those elevated fire concerns will reemerge. I don't think it'll be too bad today because our wind not looking like it's going to really feed us too strong of a breeze. Look at that bubble right there. It is abnormally warm for December, all the way into the upper plains. All right, so Thursday and Friday, if we can get around 73, 74 degrees, that's where those records will begin to kick in. Overnight lows looking absolutely fabulous. Time now to turn our attention to the KOAM News Now Facebook page and our morning Insta poll. 5 years ago, The Humans won the Tony Award for Best Play, and now the playwright has adapted it for the big screen. David Daniel with a look.
Are you balancing a job with all your studies?
The main reason I'm not done with school yet is because I was depressed for a bit. I'm fine now.
In our family, we don't have that kind of depression.
Dad. Whoa, come back to earth.
Sorry.
No, we just have a lot of stoic sadness.
The Humans presents an extended family Thanksgiving in a claustrophobic Manhattan apartment in a drama based on the Tony-winning play.
I know you think there's something wrong with me. It's not a news.
She still acts like a martyr when I'm trying to apologize.
Beanie Feldstein plays the evening's hostess. She's caught between her grown-up life with her boyfriend, played by Stephen Yeun, and her image as the baby of the family.
She's confronted with both of her realities at the same time, and in such a small space that seems to be like retaliating against us or rejecting us. We're not quite sure.
Writer-director Stephen Karam says creating that space was one of his favorite parts of adapting his play for the screen.
The relationship to the space of the apartment and the ability to meet the family almost like a voyeur.
So meticulous to the water staining, to like the molding damage, and it felt claustrophobic in a good way. It felt moving through the space feel real.
You did feel like things were closing in on you.
Cast members Richard Jenkins and Jane Howdyshell praised what Karam did with the space.
The kind of intimacy that he was able to attain with the camera work and the shots, the way he set them up, is extraordinary.
I think it was a brilliant understanding of the difference between live theater and film. To knowing this is what matters right here.
In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Our question for you this morning: how was your Thanksgiving? Was it great, just okay, or if you're just happy it's over? You can let us know either by connecting to us via Facebook or go straight to the poll, KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. Healthwatch is next.
This morning, it's very dark this morning, the CDC has expanded its vaccine guidance to recommend all U.S. adults get a booster shot as concern over the new coronavirus variant known as Omicron grows. Officials say it'll take a few more weeks before we know if the current vaccines protect against it. Naomi Ruckham reports from New York City, where officials are already preparing.
As concern grows over the new Omicron variant of the coronavirus, the CDC issued new guidance saying everyone ages 18 and older should get a booster 6 months after their initial Pfizer or Moderna series or 2 months after J&J.
We fully anticipate this protection, at least in part, will be beneficial against Omicron.
Federal health officials say there is no evidence of the new strain in the U.S. yet. It has been confirmed in 20 countries since it was first reported in South Africa last week.
These mutations have been associated with increased transmissibility and immune evasion.
The CEO of vaccine maker Moderna reportedly said the existing vaccines will be much less effective against Omicron, telling the Financial Times, quote, "All the scientists I've talked to are like, this is not going to be good." On CBS Mornings, NIH Director Dr. Francis Collins urged patience while we wait for answers.
The big question for most of us is, do the vaccines that have been put into a lot of people's arms, including mine, do they provide protection against this variant the way they have with Alpha and Beta and Gamma and Delta? And we won't know that for another couple of weeks.
State and local officials aren't taking any chances. Here in New York City, the mayor is advising everyone return to wearing a mask indoors.
We're telling you, get those masks back on now.
As an FDA panel meets to discuss emergency use authorization for Merck's antiviral pill, the company said it believes the drug will have similar effects against any coronavirus variant. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News, New York.
The FDA panel voted to endorse the pill. The vote isn't binding, but the agency usually follows the committee's recommendations. That's a look at one of our top health stories this morning. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
We do have some light sprinkles coming down. Probably just sprint right through it. Not even going to need an umbrella. It's not going to stick around at all. It's already pretty warm, especially where we're seeing the sprinkles, whether it be Joplin or Pittsburgh, Carthage as well, already up into the 50s. Cooler up to the northwest. We're still waiting on a couple places, Yates Center, Iola, and Sedan, to get to that 40-degree mark. 7-day forecast will roll mid-60s today, 70s for the second and third day of December on Thursday and Friday.
Good morning, I'm Chris Warner with your KOAM News Update. Pittsburgh State University is giving social work students a new opportunity to advance their education. PSU is now offering a master's degree in social work through a partnership with the University of Kansas. Students in the first group already pursuing the new degree option. It was such a hit last year, the Joplin Parks and Rec Department is doing it again. The Holiday Tree Trail is a series of decorated trees from area businesses and organizations placed along a portion of the trail at Mercy Park. The city lit the trees Tuesday night at a special event that included performances by Karen's Dance Studio, hot cocoa, cookies, and even a visit by Santa. Guests who walk the trail can vote for their favorite tree through December 22nd, when the winners will receive prizes. The trees will be on display through the end of the month.
We are going to have sunny skies later on today after some morning sprinkles. Didn't amount to anything. How about a warm start to December? We're already going to talk about mid-60s here. And for the second and third day of our new month, we're going to be challenging some record highs with 70s. Perhaps the best part is those overnight temperatures only stay in the 50s, shaping up to be a nice mild weekend. Shots for increased rain, though, on both Saturday and on Sunday.
Right now at 5:30, students at Pitt State now have a chance to turn their social work into a master's degree. And local area realtors turned the Gold Key project into benefits for the Ronald McDonald House. Also, one report shows rural Kansas school districts experiencing a decline in early reading levels.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning. Welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is now 5:30. I am Chris Warner. It is a beautiful December 1st morning. It is hard to believe that it is December the 1st with how warm it is and the fact that we're getting sprinkles. I actually saw a couple, streak by the camera.
You can see them just like fall right through the light, and then, like Chris said, that's all it amounts to. It is a sprinkle. I don't even think you're going to need an umbrella if you just got to walk out to the car or something like that. It's not going to come down with any intensity whatsoever. And also, with the other thing Chris alluded to, these temperatures already 56 degrees over 7th and Orange Line. Wind's going to be pretty constant right there. It's not too bad, though. You really don't notice it. And then our temperatures cooler out to the northwest. We got that dividing line to the central portion. Then we break into a whole bunch of mid-50s as we work through southwest Missouri and northeast Oklahoma. There is that light rain that we're talking about, if you can even call it rain. We'll go ahead and remove what we've got, and that's about the extent of it right there. Everything will move off to the east and do so way before we even think about getting to sunrise, which will be at 7:12 over Joplin Regional Airport. Got the old atmospheric river and those winds out to the west, but really coming over the Rockies, everything dries off, pushes that system that is in central Missouri at the far eastern or western portion of it. It's going to move it toward the Ohio River Valley. So no worries for us today as the afternoon planner lifts us up into the mid-60s to begin the new month. And we're not going to stop on the thermometer to the point where once we get into Thursday and even Friday, we're going to be throwing up temperatures that are, 70. Look at that big warm bubble that comes in out of Texas. Penetrates all the way into the upper plains. Record highs is what we're going to see. If we don't break any, Chris, I certainly think they will to the north of us, because mid-70s for them in December. Shoot, they've already kind of jockeyed around the freezing point and had snow, throughout portions of November. So yeah, they'll be melting tomorrow when we get up into Nebraska and South Dakota.
Certainly hope so. Under these warmer temperatures, you'd expect the snow to melt. But I mean, at the same time, the way Mother Nature likes to play, like you mentioned, they just got snow.
Right.
And now it's going to be shooting up to 60, 70 degrees. I mean,
I don't think we'll have any flooding concerns in the upper plains, though. We'll be good with that. Our biggest flooding concern right now is going to be the Pacific Northwest with the atmospheric river.
that jet stream just does not want to move anywhere.
No, it hadn't moved. That's a great point. It has not moved for 2 days.
It seems pretty content where it is, and maybe it'll stay that way a little bit longer if we're lucky. I mean, the 7-day doesn't suggest that, but again, Mother Nature, she's finicky. You never know what she'll throw at you.
It is up to her.
All right, Michael, thank you so much. Here's a look at some of today's top stories. A Baxter Springs, Kansas home invasion suspect is recovering in the hospital after he was shot by the resident. The shooting happened last night. Baxter Springs Police Department got a call just before 9 about a person breaking into a house. Now, on the way to that call, they learned that someone at the location had been shot. Police say the suspect, Sean Talent Jr., allegedly broke into the home, assaulted the residents, and was shot once in the thigh and then again in the calf. Talent is charged with aggravated burglary, aggravated assault, and criminal damage to property. No one else has been charged. Pitt State is giving social work students a new opportunity to advance their education. PSU is now offering a master's degree in social work through a partnership with the University of Kansas. Students in the first group are already pursuing the new degree option.
So this allows students to stay in the area, to get their degree and stay here. It also, since we have the 2-year program where they're able to do the first year at PSU, our tuition is great at PSU, so it's an affordable way.
In the first year of the program, students take courses in PSU's social work program to earn a foundation graduate certificate. Then they take a year of clinically focused classes taught by KU faculty. Well, home sellers spread the love to a home away from home. Reese Nichols Realtors from Joplin and Neosho yesterday presented a $5,300 check for the Ronald McDonald House of the Four States. It's part of the Gold Key project launched in Kansas City last year. Participating agents agree to donate $100 for every closing during the months of April through October. 5 Ronald McDonald houses benefit.
Our goal this year for 2021 was a $100,000 goal to donate to those 5 Ronald McDonald houses, and we wound up with just shy of $236,000 between April 1st through October 31st of this year.
The Ronald McDonald House provides shelter and resources for families of children in the hospital. A report analyzing the Kansas State Department of Education's test results shows that rural schools in the state were hit the hardest by the pandemic. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky has a look at a local school district and how they felt the impact of the pandemic on their students and what they're trying to do to get students back on track.
Kansas schools are among many nationwide trying to recover from the pandemic's impact on learning. Kelly Walters, reading specialist for the Columbus School District, has seen the effects on young children's learning firsthand.
They'd be quarantined or teachers were quarantined, so they didn't get the normal school year last year. So when those kids, they missed almost half of their kindergarten or first grade year, they really missed a lot of the foundational skills that you have to be a successful reader.
A recent study by the Reading Roadmap nonprofit shows rural Kansas school districts like Columbus experienced the greatest decline in early reading levels between 2019 and 2021, compared to other Kansas school districts. Now, the district superintendent says they're trying to catch up, which can be challenging when some students need more help than others.
You know, some students came back and they were in pretty good shape and on course, and others came back, and that creates an issue to try to catch some up while others are where they needed to be. So we've introduced after-school programs and summer school programs to help that, because not everyone maybe needs that.
Now the district says they plan to use what they've learned through the pandemic to change and improve how kids are taught in the future.
That we want to really work and focus on all of those kids that are struggling, because we know that for them to be successful adults, they have to be able to be a successful reader.
In Columbus, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
The Pittsburgh School District sent KOAM a statement saying they saw lower scores on state testing in spring of 2021, but more is taken into consideration when making student assessments. And that is a look at our top stories coming up on this half hour, the KOAM Morning News. Some people like pumpkin pie. I don't know who doesn't, but some don't. We'll meet a toddler whose reaction to pumpkin pie you'll simply have to see. Plus, the wife of El Chapo receives a 3-year prison sentence. We'll have the latest, but first, it is 5:37.
Give you an idea of the light sprinkles that we're seeing on this Wednesday morning. It'll be out of here before we get to sunrise at about 12 after 7. Then our weather trend going to take us up into the mid-60s. Whole bunch of sunshine today. Overnight lows, tremendous for this time of year. We'll be able to roll 40s and 50s and then get up into the 70s for Thursday and Friday. Be back with World Watch next.
Right now at 6, students at Pitt State now have a chance to turn their social work into a master's degree. Also, local area realtors turned the Gold Key project into benefits for the Ronald McDonald House. And one report shows rural Kansas school districts experienced a decline in early reading levels.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, or if you're just joining us, welcome. It is 6 a.m. It is also the very first day of December. I'm Chris Warner, and it is not December-like out there at all.
Not at all.
Not that anybody's complaining necessarily.
No. I don't, well, yeah, because somebody's going to complain to me about it. But no, we should, this time of year, each and every night for our overnight lows, we should fall down around the freezing point. We should only top out about 52, 53 degrees. Well, we've already sprinted past that at Joplin Regional Airport. Our low that we recorded at Joplin Regional was 49, so that's a good 17 degrees above the freezing point. Now, we're not going to get close to where we were in 1982, where it got up to 75 degrees, but at the same point, still going to be abnormally warm. We've seen a light rain or two roll through. It hasn't amounted to anything. Looks like 7th and range line's just about done, as a matter of fact. The dividing line's an indicator of exactly where the wind is. That blue, where it's a little bit cooler up to the northwest, hasn't shifted all the way as of yet. Still working in from the north compared to the southerly breeze that we get for the southern and eastern portion of the 4 states. There's that light rain we were talking about. And hasn't equivocated, nor will it, to anything. We're not even going to have what you would even consider trace amounts of accumulation. A Skywatch storm tracker that really, you get out to the west of us, there's not a whole lot of action out there. So it's going to be dry here all the way into the weekend. And Chris and I were talking about our rain totals. We could actually use a little bit of rain right now. That's why we've been having to deal with that elevated fire risk. Wind won't be too bad today, though. Sunny skies, mid-60s for today. And tell you what, just clear overnight as well. Then when we get into Thursday, the action begins. 70s on the board, back-to-back days for December 2nd and 3rd.
Not looking too bad overall. I mean, it almost makes it look like the Skywatch storm tracker is broken because there's not a thing
There's nothing on there, I know.
I mean, it's like, are you sure it's actually functioning? Because there's not a thing on there.
Sometimes I like to throw up the old 6-hour loop just so you can see movement in it.
We got to have some kind of movement in the 6 hours.
There you go.
As dry as we've been, there may not be movement for 12 hours.
And wait till Sunday night rolls around and we go, why is it to the freezing point again?
Well, we'll hear some rumbles of thunder, and that's, if you get
coming.
storms in December, it's a pretty good indicator. It's going to be cold on the flip side of that.
Chris and I were just looking at monthly precipitation totals, and while we were marveling at Joplin only getting 0.8 of an inch, Chanute only got half an inch for the entire month of November.
It's a dry month.
I know.
That is a very dry month, which is, again, like you said, heightened fire dangers. You want to make sure that you're doing safe burning if you got to do any burning at all.
Or try to avoid burning.
If you can, this past weekend.
If you can hold it off till next week, we're going to be better off.
That'd be a good time to do it. This past weekend, I was coming into the station on Sunday, and I swear to you, coming in on Old 96, it looked like Cherokee County was on fire. There were so many grass fires going, and the smoke was just all out there.
Windy.
So, and while we were here, by the way, on our fire scanners, there were a number of controlled burns that they were calling in that were now out of control. So you've got to watch it. You may think you've got it, but that being so dry, even a light breeze can spread pretty quickly.
One ember jumps and it's game on.
Yeah, exactly. Michael, thank you so much. Let's look at some of today's top stories for this morning. Some area organizations used this Giving Tuesday as a fundraising opportunity to help those in need. That included Connect to Culture in Joplin. Facebook was matching donations made to the arts organization through the platform. C2C says an anonymous donor has agreed to match up to $5,000 in donations.
Sometimes people aren't thinking about showing their appreciation for different organizations, and this is what the day is all about. It's about showing appreciation for Connect to Culture, what it provides the Joplin area, how it helps it grow. And I just hope that they'll consider, donating $5, $10. It doesn't have to be a huge amount of money.
Officials say the funds raised yesterday will help keep things running through the year. Pitt State is giving social work students a new opportunity to advance their education. PSU is now offering a master's degree in social work through a partnership with the University of Kansas. Students in the first group are already pursuing the new degree options.
So this allows students to stay in the area, to get their degree and stay here. It also, since we have the 2-year program where they're able to do the first year at PSU, our tuition is great at PSU, so it's an affordable way.
In the first year of the program, students take courses in PSU's social work program to earn a foundation graduate certificate. Then they take a year of clinically focused classes taught by KU faculty. Well, some home sellers spread the love to a home away from home. Reese Nichols Realtors from Joplin and Neosho yesterday presented a check for $5,300 for the Ronald McDonald House of the Four States as part of the Gold Key project launched in Kansas City last year. Participating agents agreed to donate $100 for every closing during the months of April through October. 5 Ronald McDonald houses benefit.
Our goal this year for 2021 was a $100,000 goal to donate to those 5 Ronald McDonald houses, and we wound up with just shy of $236,000 between April 1st through October 31st of this year.
The Ronald McDonald House provides shelter and resources for families of children in the hospital. A report by a Kansas nonprofit shows rural Kansas school districts experienced the greatest decline in early reading levels from 2019 to 2021 compared to other Kansas districts. This comes from public data showing rural school districts suffered more learning losses following pandemic-related school closures. Some area districts fared pretty well, but the Columbus School District says it's seeing this learning gap firsthand. It says a lack of funding plays a big part.
I think what hurts rural schools, we don't have maybe the resources you would have in more, larger cities and things. So we were able, with ESSER money, to get caught up with some of the things that we fall behind in because we don't have the funding maybe you see in larger settings.
The Columbus superintendent says they're now using federal pandemic funding to introduce new programs for students who may have fallen behind. Yesterday was our first Toy Box Tuesday of the year, and we're not done yet. We're going to do it again next Tuesday at noon. 5, 6, and 10 volunteers will be standing by to take your phone and monetary donations to help buy toys for area kids in need. If you can't wait, until next Tuesday, because I know you folks in the 4 states have a great giving spirit. If you're ready to do so now, or you want to do it again and again, all you need to do, check out that stuff. Go to KOAMnewsnow.com. It is now 6:07.
Still got that light rain hanging on in southwest Missouri. We see a little sprinkle or two up in the far western edge of southeast Kansas, though, as well. Hey, great thing is, we're so far above the freezing point, any raindrop you do see, it's just simply going to stay rain, whether that be today or whether that be over the weekend as well. And while that's from today into the weekend, in between, 70-degree temperatures to begin December on Thursday and Friday.
Is a look at this morning's top stories and weather, all in the first 7 minutes of KOAM Morning News. Still to come, we're in the middle of deer season. Have you ever wanted to learn how to process the deer you hunt? Adam Scrunts from the K-State Wildcat Extension Office stops by to tell us more. Plus, what do asthma, allergies, and COVID have in common? Well, there's a new study linking them. We'll tell you what that study is saying about how they're connected. And inflation is on the rise due to supply chain issues, and the head of the Federal Trade talked about how to get it under control. Stick around, find out his suggestion. You are watching KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. In Consumer Watch this morning, yesterday, the chairman of Federal Reserve told Congress inflation is likely to keep rising in the short term, pointing to supply chain logjams and the pandemic. Treasury Secretary added that getting COVID-19 under control is the best way to get the economy back on track, and while also warning lawmakers not to default on the nation's debt. Skylar Henry has the latest from Capitol Hill.
Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell and Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen warned a Senate panel that uncertainty over the supply chain and the Omicron COVID-19 variant may cause inflation to rise into the new year.
Greater concerns about the virus could reduce people's willingness to work in person, which would slow progress in the labor market and intensify supply chain disruptions.
The progress of our economy, of our economic recovery, can't be separated from our progress against the pandemic.
Mr. Powell added that inflation concerns could prompt the Fed to taper stimulating the economy through bond purchases over the next few months.
Now the economy is strong, and it's strong, and inflationary pressures are high, so we're looking at going to discuss the possibility of a faster conclusion.
During the hearing, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen urged Congress to raise the debt limit by December 15th and defended the president's massive social spending bill.
You're going to add trillions more through the Build Back Better.
Build Back Better is fully paid for and will not add to the debt or to deficits.
Tuesday, President Biden traveled to Minnesota to sell the Build Back Better Act and the bipartisan infrastructure law.
Rebuilding in America, investing in America. That's what this is about.
Meanwhile, the Federal Trade Commission has asked several major retailers and grocers to submit documents as part of its probe into supply chain disruptions and rising prices. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Senate Democratic leaders are pushing to pass the Build Back Better bill without Republican support before Christmas. Wall Street unfortunately fell on Tuesday amid ongoing fears about the Omicron variant. Take a look at these numbers. Dow tumbled 652 points. NASDAQ lost 245. S&P slid 88. Investors were also disappointed to hear that the Federal Reserve may cut back on its bond purchases sooner than originally planned. Chairman Jerome Powell told lawmakers the central bank will discuss the idea this month as it tries to deal with rising inflation. Home prices are up nearly 20% from 1 year ago, according to the S&P CoreLogic Case-Shiller National Home Price Index. That's a name. Prices rose 19.5% in November compared to last year. That's actually slightly down from the year-over-year for October. Phoenix, Arizona, Tampa, and Miami, Florida were the 3 markets with the strongest growth. Nevada brought in more than $1 billion in sports bets for the first time ever in 1 month. State's Gaming Control Board, they announced that yesterday. October crushed the previous record of $786 million in September. Despite the Sin City's reputation as the center of the gambling world, New Jersey was actually the first to clear $1 billion, doing it in both September and October. That's it for Consumer Watch. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, and indeed it is a Wildcat Wednesday, and I understand this segment may not be for everybody. Some people, may not be into the whole hunting aspect of it, but two people that are is going to be number one, me, and number two, David Scrons of the K-State Extension Office. So David, thank you so much for joining us. She happens to be the Ag and Natural Resource Agent for our area. And you have a great workshop coming up that's on deer processing. We are in the midst of a prime hunting season right now, especially for archery. As a matter of fact, my father-in-law just has one hanging in a tree right now. What are we going to take out of this workshop that's coming up?
Yeah, so as most folks that are avid hunters know, archery season for deer has been open, but today is the first day of rifle season for deer. So on Friday, we will be having a deer processing workshop. Dr. Drew Ricketts is the K-State Wildlife Specialist for Extension, and he will be coming down to do a demonstration on how to field dress a deer.
Now, when you say demonstration, because so when I think workshop, I'm like, how many PowerPoint slides are we gonna see? But I understand you've got something a little special here.
Yeah, so instead of having a PowerPoint slide type of workshop, which I know can be not as interesting for everyone, Drew will actually be doing a live demonstration on how to field dress a deer from start to finish. So hopefully after this workshop, folks can feel more comfortable going out and field dressing a deer by themselves.
Now, David, this is great for all ages. Anybody who ever has a question about it, and maybe even if you're an experienced hunter, you pick up some tips along the way. But what does this mean for our younger hunters? The way the Kansas State Research and Extension Office is reaching out and showing them, hey kiddos, this is how it's done.
Yeah, like you said, this is open to all ages, and it would be a great opportunity for youth of any age. Maybe this is their first year going deer hunting, to come and learn how to field dress a deer and ask Drew any questions that they may have. And for more experienced hunters, along with Drew, Lane Egger from the Meat Science Department on campus will also be coming down. So if you have any questions on how to get a specific cut of meat from the deer after it's been field dressed, Lane will be able to help answer those questions and show folks how to get a specific cut of meat that they're looking for if they don't want to take that deer to a local processor and they want to do all of the processing themselves.
Can you give us a lowdown on the workshop? How do we sign up? Where do we go?
The workshop will be on Friday at 6:30 in the evening at the Labette County Fairgrounds in Oswego, Kansas. It is free to attend, but we do ask that folks RSVP just so we have a head count to know how many people to expect. And to RSVP, you can call our Altamont office. That number is 620-784-5337. And I also want to remind everyone that this workshop will be held outside. So please remember to dress warm.
I looked at it because I knew this was coming up. It's not going to be too bad. We'll probably go about mid-50s, even overnight. So we're not looking too bad at all.
That's great. I'm glad the weather's working out for us.
David, you know what I did not do, and I owe you a sincere apology. I did not thank you for joining us this early in the morning, and I apologize for that. It's been so long since I've seen you. I wanted to jump into the interview.
Yeah.
David Scrons of the Kansas State Extension Office here on a Wildcat Wednesday. Ma'am, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thanks for having me on.
All right, David, we will catch up with you later, and we'll have more KOAM morning news for you right after this.
Topping Healthwatch this morning, a new drug that will help doctors find additional cancerous lesions in patients with ovarian cancer is hitting the market. As Marvin Bills reports, the Purdue doctor who invented the drug says it will continue moving cancer surgery forward.
Dr. Philip Lau is a presidential scholar for drug discovery and Ralph C. Corley Distinguished Professor of Chemistry. Dr. Lau was instrumental in creating a new drug that will help surgeons find ovarian cancer tumors in cells. That drug is called Cytalux. Cyta meaning cell and lux meaning light.
What our drug does is it homes in very specifically on cancer cells, lights them up so they appear very bright against a dark background, and allows a surgeon to locate and resect this otherwise undetected diseased tissue.
Clinical trials have been ongoing for nearly a decade. The FDA approved Cytalux earlier this week after research revealed it wasn't harmful to patients. It will be distributed by biotechnology company On Target Laboratories.
It circulates throughout the body and the bloodstream, homes in, it actually penetrates virtually all tissues, but it clears from all healthy tissues. In contrast, it remains in the cancer tissue.
The drug is administered through an IV injection an hour or two before an ovarian cancer surgery.
Once it encounters a cancer cell, it binds tightly to the cancer cell. The cancer cell then eats it, takes it in, engulfs it, internalizes it, and it retains it inside the cancer cell, so that cell remains brightly fluorescent for quite a few days afterwards,
allowing the surgeon to find the cancerous lesions and remove them. According to Dr. Lau, during clinical trials, surgeons were able to find additional tumors in over 20% of patients which would have been otherwise left behind.
My hope is that that saves their lives or at least prolongs their lives significantly.
Dr. Lau says this could save hospitals some money. The fluorescent dye used in the drug is between $2,000 to $3,000. People with allergies such as hay fever and atopic eczema and asthma may have some protection against COVID-19. That's according to a study in the UK that looked at 16,000 people and found those with certain allergy conditions and asthma had a 38% lower risk of COVID infection. New research suggests that stuttering is linked to the process of initiating speech rather than a psychological problem that stems from a lack of effort or trauma. Doctors point out people often speak words fluently later in a sentence, even if the same words cause stuttering at the beginning of the sentence. They believe this will help in this finding will help develop targeted drugs and technical treatments. Women with coronavirus are more likely to have complications with pregnancy and birth. Researchers in France found women with COVID-19 had a higher frequency of ICU admission, death, gestational hypertension, and premature birth. They say the finding reinforces the need to get the COVID-19 vaccine. As a look at some of today's top health stories, you're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Still a little bit cooler up in the northwest. We've got 35 in Neodesha and 36 in Parsons. Then you get along that dividing line and drop down. We got a whole bunch of mid-50s from southwest Missouri into northeast Oklahoma. So a little bit here, there, and everywhere. Rain just about done. It was just sprinkles, that's all it was. But pushing out on the east of southwest Missouri up into the mid-60s this afternoon.
Right now at 6:30, students at Pitt State now have a chance to turn their social work into a master's degree. And local area realtors turn the Gold Key project into benefits for the Ronald McDonald House. Also, one report shows rural Kansas school districts experienced a decline in early reading levels.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning. Welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is now 6:30 and it is now December the 1st. Can you believe that? I'm Chris Warner, and it is unbelievable simply because it's so warm outside. The first day of December. We've been saying it all morning, but really it is very mild. It does not feel like December 1.
No records today, but here middle of the week, next 2 days, beginning tomorrow, 70s for the second and third day of December. Today's going to be great too. Live look outside of Television City, where we still do have some lingering cloud cover, but it'll push out here. And we're done with our light rain that we had over 7th and Range Line, where right now we sit already at 54 degrees. We're waiting on the wind up to the north and northwest to shift, so that'll begin to warm those communities up as well, as compared to the mid-50s that we're already seeing throughout southwest Missouri and northeast Oklahoma. There's the Skywatch storm tracker already clearing out, and not only the wind, but also too that lack of cloud cover to the west and to the north resulted in the cooler overnight temps. There's what we've got left of our sprinkles, just about to push off to the east of our highlighted counties in southwest Missouri. And Really, that's about the only action going on in the Midwest. Also, there's a bunch of flooding in the Pacific Northwest that we'll keep our eyes on this week. Our weather trend here in the 4 states: sunny skies, mid-60s, southwesterly breeze, just 5 to 10 miles per hour. And not a raindrop in the sky until we get to the weekend. So we're going to turn our attention to how warm are we going to get? Well, on Thursday, we're going to jaunt up into the 70s and even be warmer there on Friday. We will pick up some weekend rain, and the next cold front not going to drop in until we get from Sunday into Monday morning.
And even then, it's not, I mean, the overnight lows are pretty chilly, but I mean, yeah, it's not going to be too bad with this cold.
That's right on par, right on par for December.
I think we can live with that.
Yeah, we're going to get spoiled here for about 5 days.
It's going to make it feel very cold.
That is a great point.
That's the thing. By Sunday, with these temperatures, 47 might be mild, but it's going to feel
We're going to be in tune
cold
to those 70s here real fast.
Michael, thank you. Here's some of the top stories today. Pitt State is giving social work students a new opportunity to advance their education. PSU is now offering a master's degree in social work through a partnership with the University of Kansas. Students in the first group are already pursuing the new degree option.
So this allows students to stay in the area, to get their degree and stay here. It also, since we have the 2-year program where they're able to do the first year at PSU, our tuition is great at PSU, so it's an affordable way.
In the first year of the program, students take courses in PSU's social work program to earn a foundation graduate certificate. Then they take a year of clinically focused classes taught by KU faculty. Home sellers spread the love to a home away from home. Reese Nichols Realtors from Joplin and Neosho yesterday presented a $5,300 check for the Ronald McDonald House of the 4 States. It's part of the Gold Key project launched in Kansas City of last year. Participating agents agreed to donate $100 for every closing during the months of April through October. 5 Ronald McDonald houses benefit.
Our goal this year for 2021 was a $100,000 goal to donate to those 5 Ronald McDonald houses, and we wound up with just shy of $236,000 between April 1st through October 31st of this year.
The Ronald McDonald House provides shelter and resources for families of children in the hospital. A report analyzing the Kansas State Department of Education's test results shows that rural schools in the state were hit the hardest by the pandemic. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky has how a local school district felt the impact of the pandemic on their students and what they're trying to do to get students back on track.
Kansas schools are among many nationwide trying to recover from the pandemic's impact on learning. Kelly Walters, reading specialist for the Columbus School District, has seen the effects on young children's learning firsthand.
They'd be quarantined or teachers were quarantined. So they didn't get the normal school year last year. So when those kids, they missed almost half of their kindergarten or first grade year, they really missed a lot of the foundational skills that you have to be a successful reader.
A recent study by the Reading Roadmap nonprofit shows rural Kansas school districts like Columbus experienced the greatest decline in early reading levels between 2019 and 2021 compared to other Kansas school districts. Now, the district superintendent says they're trying to catch up, which can be challenging when some students need more help than others.
Some students came back and they were in pretty good shape and on course, and others came back, and that creates an issue to try to catch some up while others are where they needed to be. So we've introduced after-school programs and summer school programs to help that, because not everyone maybe needs that.
Now the district says they plan to use what they've learned through the pandemic to change and improve how kids are taught in the future.
That we want to really work and focus on all of those kids that are struggling, because we know that for them to be successful adults, they have to be able to be a successful reader.
In Columbus, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
The Pittsburgh School District sent KOAM a statement saying they saw lower scores on state testing in spring of 2021, but more is taken into consideration when making student assessments. Let's look at our top stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM News. Darkness and then the light. Plus, a tragic school shooting occurred in Michigan. We've got the details that authorities have released from that site. Plus, Thanksgiving was last week, and Everyone spent time with their families. How was your Thanksgiving? We're going to let you weigh in. But first, it is 6:37.
It looks like we got a nice looking sunrise officially over Joplin at 7:13 this morning. Cloud cover will be a thing of the past by the afternoon, and it is mild out already. A whole bunch of mid-50s running along the I-44 corridor. A little cooler out to the northwest, but certainly not too bad. And just about done with our light sprinkles that we had that moved through. Now look out to the west. We're going to clear off. We're going to clear off fast, and the sunshine is going to rise us up into the mid-60s today. What a wonderful start to December. And we're not going to stop as the mercury climbs into the 70s for both Thursday and Friday. We'll be back with Nationwatch right after this.
Topping Nationwatch this morning, at least 3 students are dead and others remain in critical condition after a school shooting in Michigan. The suspect, who was taken into custody at the school, is not speaking to authorities. CBS's Laura Podesta has the latest.
Mourners packed a Michigan church to grieve those killed and injured in yesterday's school shooting.
We're all in this together. We're not alone. And we're going to get through it together. And we're not going to get through it unchanged.
Investigators in Oakland County, Michigan are searching for a motive.
The person that's got the most insight of the motive is not talking. Preliminary investigation revealed that the weapon used in this shooting was purchased on November 26th, 4 days ago, by the boy's father.
Police say the 15-year-old suspect posted pictures that showed he had practiced with the semi-automatic handgun.
Requesting medical assistance, multiple ambulances if possible.
More than 100 911 calls came in just before 1 p.m. Within 5 minutes, 2 deputies arrived at Oxford High School and confronted the student, who surrendered.
They went in and searched out the threat. They went to the gunshots.
Officials say the gunman fired at least a dozen rounds, hitting 10 students and 1 teacher.
We don't know if they were targeted. We will get to the bottom of that as we get further into this investigation.
President Biden learned about the shooting while at an event in Minnesota.
My heart goes out to the families enduring the unimaginable grief of losing a loved one.
Officials downplayed recent rumors of a threat, but said they were following up on all tips. Laura Podesta, CBS News.
The Oakland County prosecutor says she will file charges quickly and promised an update later today. France inducted U.S.-born entertainer, anti-Nazi spy, and civil rights activist Josephine Baker into the Pantheon Mausoleum, Paris, yesterday, the first black woman to receive the nation's highest honor. To represent her presence there, a symbolic coffin was carried to the steps of the mausoleum containing handfuls of earth from places she called home. Baker was born in St. Louis in 1906, but went on to find much of her fame after arriving in Paris in the 1920s, as many black Americans stayed on in the French capital after World War I and brought with them American jazz culture. Baker served in the French Resistance during World War II and was a prominent civic rights activist after the war. Former TV personality Josh Duggar was in an Arkansas courtroom yesterday for the start of his trial. Jury selection began at the federal courthouse in Fayetteville. Duggar faces federal charges of receipt and possession of child pornography. Prosecutors allege he downloaded material that depicted the sexual abuse of children under the age of 12. Duggar is the oldest of Michelle and Jim Bob Duggar's 19 children. The trial comes as family patriarch Jim Bob runs for an open Arkansas State Senate seat in a special election. Family was the focus of the TLC series 19 Kids and Counting. Let's look at today's top national stories. We're going to check back in with Michael for our Something to Talk About.
Thank you, Chris. This morning on the KOAM News Now Facebook page in our morning Insta poll, 5 years ago, the play The Humans won an Tony Award. The playwright now adapting it for the big screen as this takes a look at an extended family Thanksgiving set inside a claustrophobic apartment. So our question for you was, how was your Thanksgiving? And luckily, 71% of you say it was absolutely just great, 24% going with just okay, and only 5% saying, yeah, I may have been stuck in that claustrophobic apartment, and I'm glad it's over. Connect to us each and every morning. Appreciate everybody's engagement. You can either go to the KOAM News Now Facebook page or directly to the poll, koamnewsnow.com/vote. We'll be back. Celebrate birthdays and anniversaries right after this.
We take this time now to honor today's four-state hero. John McCall from Wyandotte served in the Army from 1945 to 46. He served with the 105th Infantry and was awarded the Good Conduct Medal and Honorable Lapel Button. He was also a recognized marksman. And to John McCall, we thank you, today's four-state hero. Hey, guess what? Do you know what time it is? If you don't, we're going to tell you.
Birthdays.
It is birthday time. And we are starting today with 3-year-old Lyric Betsy celebrating a birthday yesterday, actually. And this happy birthday comes from Pappy, Gimme, and the rest of the family. And look at that. He's holding a baby kangaroo.
That's pretty
in
cool.
the picture. It's not a stuffed animal. It's a legit baby kangaroo.
That is pretty cool, Lyric. Not a lot of people have ever done that. Lucas Hill celebrating a 6th birthday. Lucas with animals in his photos as well. Happy birthday, kiddo, in Nevada, with love from your entire family.
We've got Wyatt Jess Thompson. He is turning the big 7. Not enough coffee, I tell you. Wyatt, when you get older, you'll understand the benefits of coffee. Wyatt is from Mound Valley, and this is love, Mimi and Papa.
It looks like he's getting ready to go surfing.
That's not a bad idea, and with the weather this week, it's going to be all right for that. If only we could surf
I thought that was
here in
maybe
the
like
four
a palm
states.
frond behind him, and maybe that is a surfboard right there. Mason Scott Adamson celebrating a 9th birthday with a theme party. Mason, a very happy birthday in Parsons.
We've got 13-year-old Callie Graham from Redfield, Kansas, celebrating that birthday. Boy, 13, those teenage years, they get here before you know it, and I'm sure Mom and Dad are looking forward to all of that. But a very happy birthday, Callie. Don't waste time. Enjoy 13.
Hunter Middleton, now 14. Nice catch, Hunter. He's celebrating in Joplin. Birthday was yesterday, but I think he was out fishing. Hoping maybe he's going fishing today, too. Happy birthday, Hunter.
Be a good day for it. We've got Morgan Huggins turning 15. She's in Sheldon, Missouri. A very happy birthday to you, Morgan.
And in Liberal, Wes Meadows celebrating his 38th birthday. Wes, this birthday wish with love from the whole family.
We got a birthday coming up tomorrow, but there's nothing wrong with celebrating early. Joseph Stott turning 38 in Carterville tomorrow, so he's celebrating today, his last day of being 37.
Well,
So
there's a reason that we wanted to get him on today. See that?
Oh,
see that wonderful woman on his right?
What a
Or on
good
your
time
right?
to celebrate.
That's right.
There we go. See, he gets 2 days of celebrating.
Well, and actually, it's a smart move, too, because he's like, all right, my birthday's coming up, my birthday's coming up. Oh, me and Amanda's anniversary, that's coming up, too.
It's an easy way to remember something that's very important, and us guys have a tendency to forget on occasion.
Well, this is pretty cool because they're celebrating their 1st anniversary. So congratulations to Joe. Happy early birthday to Joseph, and congratulations to Joseph and Amanda on their 1st anniversary. Kevin Westerhold, he is celebrating his 51st birthday. Love that picture there, Kevin. He's in Nevada, and Kevin happens to be one of our many 4-state heroes. So Kevin, a happy birthday and a hearty thank you for your service, sir. And I want you to know, birthday wishes with love from the entire Westerhold family.
And we've got Lori Borland turning 52 in Carthage today, and this is like yesterday. She does not look like she could be 52.
Happy birthday, Lori. And James Warren Jr. is celebrating his 63rd birthday. We're going to turn back the clock.
So he certainly does not look 63 in that photo. I want to age that well.
Graduation day, I'm guessing. James, a very happy birthday from your favorite niece and great niece. Laura Green has a birthday in Columbus. Miss Laura, turning 74. Steve Allman, now 70. Congratulations and happy birthday, Steve in Fort Scott. And Bill and Linda Stark, as they celebrate their 49th anniversary, just, what would that be, 2 days ago on Monday. Miss Linda celebrated her birthday. So a busy, busy week for the Stark family as well, and congratulations to Bill and Linda. A happy birthday, happy anniversary to all. This is where you can send them into. If you do it the email route, birthdays with an S, it's plural, birthdays, at KOAMTV.com. If you'd like to jump online, go to KOAMNewsNow.com. Now, here's Chris Warner with a very important birthday announcement.
And this important announcement is that you can be a part of the KOAM Birthday Club by going to our website and signing up. Here's the deal. When you sign up for the club, you're not just getting in a club. You can get special deals from local businesses. And who doesn't want a special deal on their special day? So if you want to take part in that, get those deals and be recognized, you can go to KOAMnewsnow.com and sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club today.
And what a gorgeous day we have for those of you celebrating. Well, we see a wide split in temperatures there, and you can tell the dividing line that works from the southwest up to the northeast on that diagonal. Eventually, we're all going to get to enjoy abnormally warm December temperatures. Still wide variety ranging anywhere from 37, 35 right now in Neodesha up to 54 in Joplin and Carthage. So 20-degree difference there for our Wednesday morning. Done with our light sprinkles that we had, pushed out to the east, and now on the west side, we begin to clear off. That sunshine will take effect and do so rather quickly as our weather trend for today is going to lift us up into the mid-60s. Just a little southwesterly breeze. Won't be too bad. We do need a little precipitation. But before we get any on Saturday and Sunday, how about throwing up 70s for the beginning of December on Thursday and Friday? Also looking great. Overnight lows, we just get to ride the 50s. We'll be back, wrap up this edition of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Pitt State is giving social work students a new opportunity to advance their education. PSU is now offering a master's degree in social work through a partnership with the University of Kansas. Students in the first group are already pursuing the new degree option. Some area organizations used this Giving Tuesday as a fundraising opportunity to help those in need. That included Connect to Culture in Joplin. Facebook was matching donations made to the arts organization through the platform. C2C also says an anonymous donor has agreed to match up to $5,000 in donations. Home sellers spreading the love to a home away from home. Reese Nichols Realtors from Joplin and Neosho yesterday presented a $5,300 check for the Ronald McDonald House of the Four States. It's part of the Gold Key project launched in Kansas City last year. Participating agents agreed to donate $100 for every closing during the months of April through October. 5 Ronald McDonald houses benefit. And it was such a success and hit last year. The Joplin Parks and Rec Department's doing it again. Holiday Tree Trail is a series of decorated trees from area businesses and organizations placed along a portion of the trail at Mercy Park. The city lit the trees last night at a special event that included performances by Karen's Dance Studio, hot cocoa, cookies, and even a visit by Santa. And that is a check of today's top headlines. It's the news you need to know before you head out the door.
Gorgeous, gorgeous start. That's a live look outside of Television City. Officially sunrise over Joplin at 7:13, and our temperatures, speaking of Joplin, already up to 54. Compare that to 44 in Pittsburgh, and then dropping down into the high to mid 30s there throughout most of southeast Kansas, as opposed to southwest Missouri that's managed to stay in the 50s. Miami and Grove 51 and 52 respectively. Beginning to lose all the cloud cover as it moves off to the east. Whole lot of sunshine today, just a little southwest breeze. Be around 65 today. And then really looking forward to Thursday and Friday as we're going to bump up into the 70s and challenge some record highs for December the 2nd and the 3rd.
Looking forward to challenging those records.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That would be. You can't go wrong with challenging some of those records. Right?
Well, and then we'll have to break out the almanac and check our overnight lows as well.
Yeah, yes, because you were mentioning the record high lows
right.
yesterday.
Yeah,
it's so warm
we might do that back to back.
We could. Record breaking is fine with me.
You like that?
I do like
this time of year. We'll take it.
Absolutely. Well, coming up today at noon, we're making Mrs. Claus's holiday cookie cupcakes in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And of course, your morning news continues on KOAM with the CBS Morning News. That's coming up next.
Or you can switch over with us here on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, endangered rhinos getting a new home.
And we have a woman suing Walmart, and I guess she ended up getting a payout. Question is, that's what we got to do. We got to find out why. Wraps it up for this Tuesday edition. Get outside, enjoy some sunshine and some fresh air. Do me a favor. Be safe. Do this all again tomorrow morning. After some light Wednesday morning sprinkles, we now turn our attention to clearing skies and sunshine for the afternoon. A little southwest breeze rolling about 10 miles per hour and lift us up into the mid-60s. Overnight lows for the beginning of December. Almost ridiculous, the fact that we'll be looking at 50s as we head into the weekend. And remember, going to be able to challenge a December and second and third high as we'll see the 70s Thursday and Friday.